Welcome back, everyone. We're live for PlayStation MVP Cast episode 25. This is Michael Vash, 7886, and tonight I am joined by the one writer,
The Wolf Among Us.
That Gamer,
Hello.
and the JLC.
Hello, hopefully I don't lag out.
Yeah, hopefully you don't lag out. We can only hope. But I was for sure that Ryder was going to say Call of Duty or something like that, but he did not.
Alright, he's a huge fan.
Yeah. But, so highlights for tonight. We have Firmware 2.0 positives and negatives, remote play, not just on PlayStation devices anymore, Resogun on another platform, and Uncharted Collection spotted for PS4. Game video tonight, which I'm switching over to now, we'll have Kill All Zombies, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Drive Club, and if I remember to switch it over, because I didn't have time to put it in the actual video, we'll have some Race the Sun. But, yeah, I was gonna try to do some PlayStation TV stuff, but, the thing's locked down, HTCP, on all the time. I think that's a very bad decision. It's free marketing if they can put the stuff on YouTube. And it would make it nice for, the smaller sites to actually do video reviews if they wanted to of Vita stuff, but not so much.
It is kind of backwards when you consider the PS4 recently had the option to turn it on or off.
That's been around for a while though. Like, oh well. I mean, like it's really unfortunate because I feel like it would actually I was totally gonna record some either Freedom Wars or something like that for tonight's cast, but that wouldn't work out because of that. I was streaming over the weekend and I'm like, oh, let's plug in PlayStation TV and see how it goes. And, yeah, I got a black screen. I'm like, great. Hope that's not happening. But, we'll jump right into it here. What have you been doing? JLC, what have you been doing?
Oh, I finally got the platinum for Dust and Legion Tale, and I finally got around to ordering Wolfenstein, so I'm going to be playing that tomorrow.
Yes. Good game.
It's a good game. I like that they have kind of an interesting mix of old school and new school in that.
Yeah.
What about you, Gamer?
I've been playing a lot of Freedom Wars.
How are you liking it?
It's going pretty well. I had a slow beginning, but it picks up later on. Also been playing Call of Duty since midnight.
Nice. Yeah,
I was a single player.
That means there's two people who have Call of Duty in this group, unless the GLC has it too.
I've been thinking about getting it. Not sure yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have a real job, so I can't really stay up till midnight and play it and all that. I just got to play a little bit. What about you, Ryder?
I have been. I recently beat Alien Isolation, but it.
No heart attacks?
No. It was quite. I wouldn't say quite scary, but a little bit more aggravating and near the end because they don't just give you one alien. We'll just leave it at that. And then
Oh, he spoiled the game for everybody.
I've already spoiled.
Yep. I'm gonna have to play it now. So.
But
thanks,
then I
Ryder.
decided to go right back to Wolfenstein. I never got to actually beat it. I had someone borrow it after the Destiny and everything came out. So I'm trying to beat that right now.
Cool.
Other than that, nothing else.
All right, good deal. Well, as for me, I did pick up Advanced Warfare today. I got to play through the first campaign mission, the introduction, and then the second mission. They're both kind of tutorial-ish. The second one kind of gives you a better idea about your actual suit. I actually thought they were pretty solid. It wasn't like I know most of the time in the Call of Duty campaign, I'm just like, oh wow, this is awful, because they just seem to want to spawn enemies around you all the time, and so far it has not been doing that, and I actually like that, but we shall see if that continues here.
So you could actually roam around without having endless spawns of enemies?
That's the way it's seeming. I have not, like I said, I just messed around with the first 2 campaign missions, so I cannot confirm that, but that's what it's seeming like.
Okay, so far that sounds like an improvement.
Yes, because I do recall, like, I don't know, I guess it was Modern Warfare 2, where they would just constantly spawn enemies, and it got to be so annoying. Ugh.
All right, cool.
But yeah, I mean, I did get to play one quick multiplayer match, and I tried to get some more footage of Call of Duty actually, but it kept on not recording. So that's why you're getting the footage you got, which it works out. It's from the second campaign, and it's not really spoiling anything. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's probably all over the internet by now.
Oh yeah, it's. People probably played the entire campaign today. Honestly, I'm thinking it's not overly
Gamer?
long.
I only played 3 missions.
Okay. Wow. Yeah,
I've
he
seen
played a bit
people
further than
online
that.
level 30s already. Like at
Wow.
But that
2
double
o'clock in the
XP,
morning.
man. Like I played one match and I didn't even do all that well, and I gained 4 levels. I mean, it's really, you're gaining XP really, really fast. But yeah, I'm so far I'm cautiously optimistic that I may actually play this one beyond like level 10. Cause that's what that's what it's ended up the past few times I've messed with it.
I hear you.
But let's go right into our topics here. Our first one tonight is the drop, of course. And so let's take a look at what we got this week. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, that is on PS Plus. Blaze Rush is PS3, top-down racer. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, of course, that indie game. Disney Infinity 2.0 is coming out digitally. It's already been out a while on physical. Don't Die, Mr. Robot on Vita. Frozen Synapse Prime. Home is coming to Vita. So Home is hit PS4 and
PlayStation
then
Home.
hit PS Vita as well. I do. It is cross-buy. So if you buy something at home on PS4, you get it on PS Vita.
Yep.
How to Survive Storm Warning Edition. I may actually look at that demo. That sounds like it could be interesting. I don't know. The Hungry Horde on Vita. MotoGP 14 on everything. With PS4 and PS3 coming in at retail as well as digital. Rocksmith 2014 hits PS4. Snark Busters High Society. I was trying to determine if that was shark or snark, and I'm like, that's weird either way.
Snarkbusters.
Shark Busters. I mean, but Shark Busters, it would make me think of like Sharknado, like they're trying to break up Sharknado or something. The Walking Dead Complete Second Season on Vita. And that's retail, by the way. I think it's been out in digital a while. And The Wolf Among Us hits everything on digital and retail.
My game.
That's JLC's game. I don't know what you're talking about. But there also is a demo of How to Survive Storm Warning Edition. But I did randomly share play Drive Club last week, and I ended up deciding to buy it. And so I'm like, I've got to play a little bit. It's actually not like it's fun, but I can definitely see some rough edges that they really need to work on. And
did they improve the driving mechanics?
Huh?
That you were complaining about? Did they improve the driving mechanics?
Oh, that was the crew you're thinking about that I've been complaining about.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the crew. Okay. I want to try the beta because I do want to see if they changed them at all, but I have a feeling that that's not going to happen. It just doesn't sound like something they would change. But yeah, like so far I've been liking it. It wasn't cool that like I had the game for like 3 days and only got to play 30 minutes, and then the guy that I was the club I was in, one of the guys is like, "Hey, do you mind leaving the club because we got people that want to play it?" I'm like, dude, I've got that game like 3 days. Chill out. But whatever. Somebody else is like, "Hey, we'll make a new club. I don't care." And I said, "Good, call it No Drama or No Whining or something like that."
And then the drama started, right?
No, this was somebody else. The guy who originally invited to me with a friend on it, and But then somebody else was like, "Hey, can you hop off because blah blah blah." I'm like, "Whatever. I don't need this. So go for it." All right. So PlayStation Plus stuff.
All right, just a word of warning for anyone before we talk about this. There was a video for this, and it was pulled due to the comment section getting destroyed. Right now, I'm told that they are either reevaluating the lineup or they are just not ready to put it out to the public yet. But it was sent out, so these titles are tentative.
Right. So of course, all of the stuff currently out: Pix the Cat, Rainbow Moon, Dungeons and Dragons, Chronicles of Mysteria, Batman: Arkham Asylum, Spelunky, and Dust Elysian Tale will be going off the list, at least presumably. I guess since if that list really is up in the air, like Ryder's saying, maybe it won't actually hit this week. We don't know. But what was on the list before is Binding of Isaac Rebirth, which we'd already seen.
Yep, we already knew about.
SteamWorld Dig on PS4 and PS Vita. Frozen Synapse Prime. Luft Razors, or Luft Arusers, I don't know how you say that one. The Hungry Horde and Escape Plan. And so...
And the Frozen Synapse Prime, that's for PS3, and the Loft Thrusters is for PS3 and Vita.
Yeah.
And the Hungry Hordes, PlayStation Vita with Escape Plan hitting both PlayStation Vita and PS4.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm guessing they were complaining about the games chosen, and I can kind of understand some of them. Like, SteamWorld Dig has barely been out a few months. I feel like Luft Razors, or, well, maybe that one's been out a little bit longer. But, yeah, I can kind of see some of the complaints, I guess. And Escape Plan, I mean, that was a Vita launch title, so I would think that anybody with the Vita would already... Most probably picked that up already.
Yeah, I bought the PS4 version for cheap, and it's kind of saddening that they gave it, they might possibly get it out for free. But most of the comments, if you were to look at the original article and the original comments, a lot of them say everything we're kind of looking at, which is most of these titles are indie titles.
Yeah.
Which I have no problem with.
Yeah, me either.
I'm probably a bigger indie fan than anyone in this room, besides maybe Mike. But but there's a lot of people who don't like that list because that's what it is.
Yeah, I want to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, we want that ghost.
Well, hey, I mean, if you're wanting that, why don't you go give Activision about $1 billion and maybe they'll let you have it, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that they expected, because it's the 1 year life cycle of the PS4, they were hoping to see one of two titles, which one I could have probably would have seen, which was Knack or Killzone Shadowfall. They were hoping those two titles were going to be there.
I really expected Knack by now to be on the PlayStation Plus Instant Game Collection. But it's okay if it's not.
To me, I think if Knack's hitting, I think it's going to be just maybe January. That's
Probably.
when it would make a lot more sense to me, because then they'd have a bunch more people with the system, or maybe even December, one of the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, I people keep wanting these big games. I'm sorry, but what games? Well, I mean, what exactly are you guys wanting on this? I mean, Watch Dogs, Battlefield 4. I mean,
I can imagine.
I can imagine how it is.
aside from maybe Killzone, which I can kind of understand because it's dropped in price a lot, and Knack. I mean,
they could have dropped Ghost since it sold so horribly.
True.
Oh gosh, we just get more complaints about that, honestly. But yeah,
Wasn't there
I
Ghost,
don't know.
Trial or something
Trials
during the
Fusion?
weekend? Yeah. No, for Call of Duty Ghosts. I think there was
I
a
don't
trial.
know. There might have been.
Yeah, I think there was.
Yeah, there was during the weekend, during one weekend.
There was a Killzone one as well at some point, but yeah, I mean, like I really don't know what they would really be expecting at this point as far as AAA stuff goes. We've had I don't even know if I'd say AAA in most cases, but
Destiny.
not indie. Like, we've just had so few titles that I feel like there would be the choices that are out there that people would want. I think most people already have. So,
And
I mean,
then-
like, if they came back with, like, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, I'm like, okay, you know, that's a launch game. That's what everybody would be saying, because that's what we would be getting right now. So, I don't know.
But then the other side of the coin is a lot of titles that people were asking for, which was Battlefield and the Assassin's Creed titles, and then the other two that I mentioned. The only problem with that argument is those titles are still selling. They're selling pretty well still.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
There's
probably are.
for owners who are new and they're buying those titles. Like those games, normally when it comes to the PlayStation Plus Instant Game Collection, it's either small titles or it is big titles that just haven't sold as many anymore. Like there's a drop off, and they're like, well, we'll try and get like some sort of deal with Sony to be on the Instant Game Collection.
Right.
So
But even then, people still complain anyway. So
Well, yeah, I know. They always complain. So I really don't know what to, at this point, what they really expect. So,
yeah.
I mean, there's, I can definitely, this list definitely the strongest in my opinion. Binding of Isaac, yes, I like. SteamWorld Dig, I wish they would have waited a bit longer because I feel like that title just came out not too long ago.
also that game was pretty good too, though.
Yeah, it is. It is really good. If you're into that type of game, definitely pick it up. If it's once ends up coming out on Plus, I honestly thought it was worth the $10 because it was it's a fun game, very fun game. Frozen Synapse, I want to say it's either releasing or it released recently.
We just had it off the title, the drop.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like I say, the only thing there that I really see that kind of I don't know when Hungry Horde came out. Luft Razors, I don't know. But anyway. So let's move on to the update. The update that both fixed and broke everything.
Oh,
Exactly.
So we've got a few hidden features that I noticed. I think I kind of pointed this one out last week. Was you can add the ability to chat with include the party chat rather, with your streams. So that's pretty cool. If we can get something, we were gonna try to do Evolve, but well, that didn't quite work out. To put it
Goes up
mildly.
and down.
Yeah, and it did confirm that people on other planets are playing PS4. So it says world not defined. So that's the only way I can interpret that message. But the other thing I've noticed when I was, because I was, I record the videos and put them on a USB drive and put them on my computer and then put them all into one clip, is they seem to upload to my USB drive a whole lot faster. And I haven't changed the actual, drive or anything like that. By the way, Call of Duty is playing. If you're not watching the stream and you want to see it, now's the time to check it out. But yeah, so those two things I thought were kind of cool. But let's move on to some of the bigger topics. Ryder, what do you have for that?
Let's see. We have some kind of hot topics, which is right now rest mode is currently broken. I recently made a guide that somewhat fixes it. A few people say it works. Some people say it doesn't.
I've tried that USB thing. That didn't work.
I just want to clarify for those people who don't know what rest mode is the old standby mode. It
Yes.
was renamed to rest mode.
So the fix that I saw online, and then after collaborating with a couple of people, we came to the synopsis of how to fix the rest mode, standby mode, which is for some reason with the firmware 2.0 update, they threw the USB ports into a 3-hour charging setting. So when you swap it to was it always on, and then you eject the disk inside your tray that's inside your PS4, and you close the application, it should go into standby mode just fine. For some reason, if either of those two options, if it's doing the 3-hour charging or if there's a disk in the tray, like in the PS4, it is not going to go into standby mode. It's just going to abruptly not work.
Yeah, and I've seen people say that doesn't work for them. I've seen other people
Yeah,
say
that's
that
what I mean. I've seen some people say that
going
too.
into safe mode and rebuilding the database seems to help for a little bit. It's
Yeah,
it's
and then it
pretty
goes
messed
back to
up.
being broken.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it's a very bad mess.
And the other topic is the YouTube app. Currently, a lot of people are saying that even though it is functioning and is really good, um, some people are expecting like a comment section that you can type in, and and they are saying that some of the videos are, it looks to not be 1080p. So I don't even know what is even up with that. But the other one is the upload functionality and the sign-in issues are kind of finicky. Some people saying they're signing in just fine. Sometimes you're signed in and then you get signed back out. Um,
Yeah, some people can't sign in at all.
yeah,
For those
sign in
people
at
who
all.
are
So,
for those people who are having problems, go to Google, go to your account settings, then security, and then remove and revoke access to PSN, to the PlayStation Network, and then try logging in again, and then you'll be able to log in via the PlayStation app. Because for some reason, the previous PlayStation Network permissions that Google has do not include uploading videos, and I guess that's where the error is coming in with the app and Google itself. So PlayStation Network and Google are not interacting because of a conflict in permissions.
Interesting.
So go to google.com, then log in, go to your account settings. Then it says it should be a setting that says security, and then once you click security, it should be one that says manage all apps or applications, and then revoke access to PlayStation Network. Once you do that, log in from the PS4 via your app, and it should work.
Interesting. I'll have to try that. It's odd that you say that though, because there were a few games that supported directly uploading to YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess this update changed the permissions or something, because the list is small when you go with when Google already has access to PSN. It's a small list. Once you revoke access and log in again via the PS4 app, the list is huge of all the new permissions it has. So
Okay.
I guess that's what the problem is.
That might
is
be
happening.
it then. I'll have to. I haven't tried it yet, but I do plan on actually using it a decent bit, because it does let you record commentary and all that kind of stuff. So I do think it's going to be very useful for some quick let's plays and stuff like that. When people said it wasn't 1080p, are they talking about videos that are playing or videos they are uploading?
the videos that are playing.
Okay. I was
they
gonna say
that-
when I'm ripping it directly from the PS4 and it's not 1080p, so I can tell you that right now. It's
No, they're
720p.
saying that the videos that you watch are not 1080p because there's a few websites that are showing that showed a video of apparently in 1080p, but they were showing a video where YouTube video was playing in the browser through PlayStation, through YouTube.tv, and then they showed the PlayStation YouTube app, and it showed that the YouTube app was a little bit more pixelated and everything. They said, well, so if this is 1080p and this isn't 1080p, then so I didn't know what to say. I just put it up there because certain people are finding that maybe the YouTube app is not maybe not defaulting to 1080p, but I'm not sure if that's confirmed or not.
Right. So, party chat higher pitched. What exactly is
Yeah,
that?
there's certain people. Well, there's certain people who say about it sounds a little bit more higher pitched, like it sounds a lot worse than what it did before. And then some people
Wow.
are saying, the clarity is really good. And so I'm in that group. I'm that group where I think the clarity is a lot better than it was before. And there's certain people who, I'm guessing, maybe it's depending on your headset. That's why certain people are saying it
That's
sounds
probably
higher
part of it.
pitched.
I mean, I've actually heard more people saying that the clarity is much better after the update, and I've only used the party chat once or twice since then, so it's hard for me to say exactly. But I mean, I do remember the chat I was having with the guy while we were doing share play for Drive Club. I mean, it was pretty clear. So, and I'm using the gold headset. I'm hoping to try out the Elite Turtle Beach Elite 800p or whatever.
Yep.
Those
I had a
sound-
friend, the JTL. He
Yeah.
recently did a video on it.
Yeah,
He
I
really
saw
loved
it. That was pretty good. But yeah, I'm hoping to check those out. They'd be
Oh,
great
yeah.
for stuff like Call of Duty. All right, use a USB music player. Yeah, they're upset because we can't upload to the hard drive. We already talked about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are upset about it, and I think we had a consensus where we're actually very happy with the fact that you can play MP3 files on it at all now.
Yeah, I mean that's a plus. But I don't understand why they didn't. Let me rephrase it this way. The only thing I can think of is they did not want to let you use the hard drive because they didn't want it trying to stream music from it and trying to stream data from it for updates and whatnot for games. That's the only thing I can think of. But I mean,
Possibly.
the PS3 did it, so I don't know why the PS4 can't.
It could be also them just thinking for the now, because there's a lot of people who are always talking about they're almost out of hard drive space. And they're like, well, if you're almost out of hard drive space, here's a USB music player for now. And then down the road, when people get smart and decide to swap out their hard drives, or the newer PS4s have the bigger hard drives, which people will sadly buy. Maybe that's when they'll do the regular music player within the hard drive.
Maybe so. But I mean, even if it was hard drive space, I mean, do you really want, 100 gigs worth of music, or 20 gigs
Absolutely.
worth of music?
Well, I understand that. I don't even have that much anymore.
I mean, to me, like, I get 2 or 3 gigs, and that'd be plenty to me for music. But that's just because to me personally, I don't like just any random music playing. I prefer some that actually sort of fit the game I'm playing. But, yeah. Oh yes, the Evolve Big Alpha, and yeah, it's kind of working, kind of not at this point.
Okay. I just thought I mentioned that, the Big Alpha, it was delayed during its supposed alpha launch, and then I was told going to the Evolve website, they said, oh, it's live now. That was November 2nd, which was yesterday. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to play it.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah,
either.
me neither.
Same
Not
here.
on PS4 anyway. I did get to play it on Xbox One, so I guess I'll give some impressions here. So I got to play as a medic once, and then I got to play as the monster twice. The first time when I played as a medic, we took the monster down really fast because the monster didn't know what they were doing. When I played the monster the first time, I got taken down really fast because I was trying to figure out what button I have to use to eat. Otherwise, I would have been fine. But then the second time, I actually won as the monster. It definitely, I had to make sure I got to level 3. Once you do that, it is a lot tougher for them to take you down. And I just started ripping them apart. I mean, like, their health bars would just drop when I would use fire or something on them, whatever I had leveled up the most. And I ended up not even killing them all, but I just took down the objective because I couldn't find them. Like they kept getting into fights with me at that point, and like I kept killing like 3 other people or something like that, and then I couldn't find them, so I'm just like, whatever, I'll go for the objective. And I got there, and then they did show up to firefight, but once I took out 2 or 3 of them, it was they ended up running away, and then it was over. But yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I'm just wondering how much content's actually going to be there. Like,
Yeah.
and that's something we've all kind of said in the past, I think. So
Yeah.
I am curious about how much overall content will be there.
I mean, even myself, I did the Evolve info thread on the PlayStation forums, and I'm trying to get as much information of the game as possible, and the only thing I could even come up with was there's 8 characters, and there's going to be 3 bosses. Well, not 3 bosses, but 3 enemies.
Info 3 complete.
And the amount of maps they haven't really discussed, but I am thoroughly afraid that they're going to go the Left 4 Dead route, which would be 6 maps, and they would give you more maps down the road.
If it's free DLC, then I wouldn't care as much.
No. I just said regular DLC. They'll give you regular DLC down the road.
Well, no, Left 4 Dead, it was all free at DLC.
Oh, okay. Hopefully it's
On
not
the
paid.
PC version, anyway.
Oh,
Now, on the Xbox version,
the
it may have
race.
been paid, but
yeah.
the Xbox 360 had some really weird DLC rules, if I recall. Like, they had to
Yep.
charge people for it or something.
Yep, they did. So.
Yeah, anyway. But yeah, it's it's fun, but I'm just wondering how much game's actually there.
Yeah.
So we have another. So in the past, I believe it's in the past quarter, right?
Yep.
3.3 million of something. What do we have?
Well, Sony has sold 3.3 million PS4s in the second quarter, bringing the total PS4s up to 13.3 million units. Not only that, but PlayStation Plus has reached 7.9 million members. It's unknown what the percentage of PS4 owners are of that, though. But I think Kaz Harai mentioned that about maybe the majority are PS4 owners.
It
So
wouldn't surprise me.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say the likelihood of that is fairly high. That the majority
But,
are.
Especially when it's required to play
Yeah.
online.
So, did anyone here think that within less than a year, the PS4 would sell almost 15 million units? Isn't that better than any console to ever come out? And is anyone surprised by how much the PS4 is selling and why it's selling so well compared to the competition, which is trying harder than ever to get sales from gamers? And what do you think Sony would have to do to be as aggressive as Microsoft is doing right now? Which currently, you can get an Xbox One for $350 with a game included.
Yeah. So let's take these in order. You said first. Did I think it would sell almost 15 million units? I honestly don't know. Just because at first, there was a big supply question of how many they could get out. And then beyond that, it was honestly it got to be the point where it's kind of impossible to gauge, just because it's hard to predict that far in the future, particularly with supply and demand. But as far as the better than any console, I don't know if I can really say that. Probably numbers wise, yes, but
Well, within a first year's time frame, I try to find consoles even similar.
right.
And the only thing, I don't think there was really any console that's even compared to having almost 15 million within its first year.
Well, yeah,
Not even
but the thing is, I mean, if you're going back to like the N64 days and before that, like video games were kind of still a bit of a niche market. The SNES and and expensive, very expensive for the time, especially.
Yep.
In the SNES and the Sega Genesis, I know with Nintendo they were always about controlling how much product was out there. So they may have had another million units sitting in the warehouse, but they controlled very, very carefully how many units came out and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's really fair to compare it to that point in time just because of the differences. But because I mean, Nintendo and Sega in the early, for Super Nintendo and the Genesis and all that, or the Super Nintendo at least. I mean, it sold quite a bit. So, and of course, launches generally sell out. So, but yeah, the first year that's good carry through, definitely. And numbers wise, yeah, it may be. But I think again it's partially due to supply issues. Like the PS2 had some rough supply issues. The Wii had some very rough supply issues at times.
So, did I think that it would sell that many within a year? Honestly, I never cared, to be honest. To be honest, I really never cared about the numbers. As long as it was selling and as long as they were doing good, you understand? Even Xbox, I even expected Xbox to do good as well. Even though they haven't done as well, but they're still selling, so, things could change,
Yeah, the numbers for Xbox actually are pretty solid. They're just not as good as PS4.
Exactly. So, was I surprised that PS4 selling this much? No, I'm not surprised because from the get-go, they aimed their system toward the gamer. So I'm not surprised that the average gamer, the person that wants to play video games decided to jump on the PS4 and started jumping on the PS4 and is buying the PS4 because of it, because that's pretty much who's buying it right now, gamers, because it's not even the holiday season yet. So I could imagine that the casual audience is gonna, jump in during the holiday season. But right now, gamers are buying the PS4, and that's interesting. Why? Well, Sony did something smart when they made the system, when they, and they directed the system toward the gamer as their audience. So no, it's not surprising they're doing this good. But what can they do to improve or to match Xbox's attempt or effort that they're doing? I think they should improve the amount of updates and actually improve PlayStation Network, because now people are required to pay PlayStation Plus. I really think they should improve the network, not just make promises here and there. They should actually be more vocal of what is actually happening behind the scenes. Show that we are actually improving our network. Your money that's coming in, we don't just care about bringing in the video games. We also care about the experience while you're playing the video games. We want you to have a reliable network. We want this and that, and I want them to be more vocal, more visible of what they're actually doing behind the scenes, because right now we don't know if they're actually doing anything. They promise, they say, and PlayStation Network keeps going down, and that's just embarrassing.
So first up, I have to ask, gamer, how do you feel about being Sony's audience, according to JLC?
Apparently, I bought so many PS4s.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, JLC is right in that case. The network going down all the time and having all these weird issues is very, very annoying for us. And then it is kind of, it does give those fanboy wars more fire. And personally for me, I just avoid the fanboy wars. I don't care anymore. It's all a big game. All right, it's all a business thing. So to me, I'm just whatever. So as far as being aggressive, there's really at this point,
Xbox One.
Yeah, there's really no point for them to be aggressive. I mean, they just sold 3.3 million units in 3 months. Why in the world would they need to be aggressive at this point?
Holiday season update.
Yeah, holiday season.
And they did just release SharePlay, which and all that. I did find it interesting that somebody was saying something like Xbox One has SharePlay. Why is Microsoft not advertising this? I'm like, that's not exactly the same thing that we're talking about here. But
thinking about family share?
Yeah, that's what I think they're talking about. Because it's two totally different things. I'm like, that's not quite the same thing that we're talking about, guy.
Yeah, but, I mean, I did SharePlay with, we'll just say, John G. John G's an MVP. He was having a hard time trying to do the last part of the PT demo. Because there was a particular way you had to do the puzzle, and he couldn't figure it out, even through guides and everything, and so he asked if I could help him. So with SharePlay, he was able to toss it to me, and he watched as I solved the puzzle for him, and he was able to get to see the ending credits and everything for it.
Yeah, nice. I still need to play Alien Isolation from Ryder if he has the upload speed. I don't know. I tried to play it through I think it was Glacius, actually, but it was too laggy on my end for me to play it. But we did play a little Nidhogg, local co-op, or multiplayer, rather. And that was interesting.
Actually, SharePlay is actually a really good feature, like, if people actually look at it. Like,
yeah.
The co-op feature is really cool. I mean, if you're playing together, you don't actually have to own the game. Like, you could play the game with your friend, like, as if they're right next to you.
Yeah, and I haven't tried local multiplayer from somebody else's machine, but from what Glacius was saying, it was very playable for him. I mean, we had some fun on Nidhogg. We only did like a round or two, but we had fun on it. He said it was very playable. He also tried Kill All Zombies. That was the first game that I had some video of tonight, and he said that was very playable as well. Granted, not very graphic intensive games, but that's just what I had playing at the time when they were trying this, and I was messing with it, so I wanted to keep the game going. But what was I going to say? The only thing that's really kind of a bummer about it is you do need a pretty good connection to do it. And some people I'm reading the Reddit threads, and some people just aren't understanding that just because you have, 25 megs down, that doesn't mean it's going to work, because it's not about your download, it's about your upload. And unfortunately, a lot of people are still stuck on DSL, and that's not their focus at all.
Yep. Especially in the U.S.
Yeah, especially in the U.S. Yes. And if you're using DSL and you're wanting to play SharePlay, it's going to be very tough for you to host, just because it's to put it basically and not get too deep into it. You're running basically over a phone line, just in a more advanced way. So you only have so much bandwidth there, and they want to focus on the download speed, because that's what most people outside of us care about. Beyond that, if you're not uploading files or streaming, as in playing something on and broadcasting it to Twitch or Hitbox or whatever, if you're not doing that or you're not using SharePlay, I mean, upload speed is kind of it doesn't really matter as much. If you look at the Evolve beta, what they suggest you have for your network stats, I think it's like 256K down and 128K up. It's very, very, like, playing online is very, very, it's not very taxing compared to SharePlay. And people are like, I play online fine all the time. And I'm like, that's not the same thing at all.
No, it's not.
Not even close. So, yeah, I feel for you if you have DSL and you are unable to get something else. Because that was me for a long time.
Yep.
We couldn't even probably do we probably couldn't have video in the podcast if I still had that case. But yeah, as far as like price, I don't think PlayStation is changing that anytime soon. As long as it keeps selling the way it is, I would like to see them do something more with their updates and actually, try to take in some feedback. Like we said last week, we kind of talked about it. The whole thing where all of a sudden the notification thing started appearing on the left, and we were just like, why did you do that? So, I would like them to take in more fan feedback and stuff like that for their updates, definitely.
Yeah, add the options rather than just force change stuff.
Yeah. Would be nice. And that would be another thing that I would actually suggest to Advanced Warfare if they're... so there's some debate going on, because like I said earlier, I tried to get multiple pieces of footage of this. I tried to record 3 different times and then again in multiplayer, and none of them actually recorded. So there's debate on whether this is because the game's not technically out until tomorrow, it's just for pre-orders today, or if it's pre-orders got the Day 0 edition, or if it's something else and like they've locked down the whole game. I'm really hoping that's not the case, because that'll be kind of dumb if you can't record a match or something like that. But I'm wondering, I'm hoping
only for season pass holders.
That wouldn't surprise me in some cases, but yeah, I'm hoping it's just because it's today. But what I wish is that they would actually tell you this, because I don't know that it's not working until I'm not seeing an update, or I'm not seeing the video clip saved or whatever, or I'm not seeing it in my my storage area. Like there's no, you can't record at this time, video has ended, blah blah blah. There's nothing. It's like, oh yeah, you're recording, and then it's like not really. We lied to you. So
messing with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of annoying. I do wish they'd come out and actually say that, hey, this can't be recorded at this time or something like that. So, the Sony Xperia Z3. Why are we talking about that, Ryder?
Well, no. Well, the PS4 Remote Play app is now out for the Sony Xperia Z3 devices. It's a big push for those looking for a phone to get your PS4 experience away from your console, albeit with a DualShock 4 controller and add-on, besides a Vita or PlayStation TV. So, would anyone get this phone for this feature? Is anyone in this group slightly interested? And is this a reason for the Vita and PlayStation TV to exist now, that Sony is going this route with using their phones being the accessory to the PS4, like it currently is.
So would I get the phone specifically for this feature?
Yeah.
Probably not. From what I hear, though, it actually is a pretty solid phone.
Yep.
I personally am sticking with my Galaxy S5, but from all I hear, it is a pretty solid phone, so that's a plus. It would be interesting, and in fact, if I can find an easy way to do it, I probably can mod my phone to make it look like a Z3. It'd be interesting to see if I could get it working correctly. But you said there's an add-on. I'm guessing that's just a USB on-the-go cable and some kind of clip or something.
Yep, where you can
Okay.
hold your phone up with the DualShock 4 there.
Yeah. So I would
So it
wonder
looks
if
like a shield, that shield thing.
yeah, basically. I'm wondering if it connects via Bluetooth or if it's using a USB on-the-go cable or what. But I'd have to look at that. But it would be cool to have. But I'm not gonna. It's not something I necessarily pick up any phone for. But as far as marketing it kind of as an accessory, I mean, it's actually probably a good idea just to try to get their ecosystem more out there. I think that's what Nintendo does very badly. Is their ecosystem is not overly consistent. You can't. You do one thing on one system and it's like, oh no, that's not really connected here. And they just started doing stuff with their online. Like they actually did some interesting stuff with that, but when it comes to purchasing stuff online, rather, you can actually start purchasing some Wii U games through their website. It's kind of crazy. Nintendo's somewhat joining the 21st century in that case. But yeah, I think it's a smart idea actually to try to push that a little bit, just to get your ecosystem out there more. I mean, the more people you can get it in their hands, the more likely maybe they buy a Xperia tablet or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a smart idea to push it out there, to let people know about it. But I don't think that I would buy it specifically just for that feature.
Yeah. But like I say, I'm wanting to say that the camera on that phone is actually really, really good as well. So if you're super into photography as well, for when you want to use your phone to do it, that's actually a pretty good option from my understanding. Because I was looking over this and trying to figure out what was actually the best Android phone at the time, and that was one of the phones that kept coming up. So, Little Big Planet 3, it looks like they want to include everyone, writer.
Oh yeah, Little Big Planet 3 wants to make previous owners of their games as happy as possible by allowing them to bring over their custom content, their character profiles, their Little Big Planet Earth, and DLC purchases. It will also be PlayStation Move compatible for those who still own them. And Sony mentions the PS3 and PS4 versions will be identical, besides better textures and higher resolution and the touchpad functionality and share play features only found in the PS4 version. So is it an excellent value to prior Little Big Planet owners that their content is able to be brought over? And who here has a Move still? What games have you played with it, and was Little Big Planet one of them?
Nope.
I still have my Move.
I still have it somewhere. I have no idea where it is. Probably in the big closet with everything else from when we moved. But it's probably still in there. But yeah, I haven't played Little Big Planet with it. I think what most people wanted to use it for was actually like designing a level.
Oh yeah, I mean, with what I mentioned a little bit earlier, is there a reason to get this though on PS4 if things are slightly the same on PS3? I mentioned I'm more targeting the people who are like on the fence of getting a PS4 if they already have a PS3. I mean, it's obviously not going to sell PS4 consoles, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. Because of the reasons you just mentioned. If I recall at E3, I'm wanting to say that they were all, oh, with the power of the PS4, we have multiple planes now and all this stuff. I mean, so clearly that's not really the case.
No.
So that's
It's
kind
pretty
of
much
unfortunate.
identical.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And again, I really think that the PS3 is holding it back. Like, I really would like to see what they could have done with just a PS4 only Little Big Planet 3. They could really focus on development. They could focus on making maybe even some new creation tools or something like that. I just feel like it's the PS3 at that point is kind of holding it back, because I think it could have done some more interesting stuff with that. But I guess we'll never know on this one.
Yeah, I think it's nice for them to be aiming this at their customers, their previous customers, at their fans, because I know the fans are going to be real happy that all this is transferring over. But I think that was expected already, to be honest.
Yeah, they'd already said they already said that the levels were coming over.
Yeah, so I think this is it's following Little Big Planet 1, 2, so it would have been obvious that would also transfer to Little Big Planet 3. So I don't know. So I don't think it's going to move consoles, but I think it's a smart idea to continue pushing the move, because there is that, like I always say, there always is that audience that's looking for those kids games, for those type of games. So it's not a bad idea to get Little Big Planet. If they were to buy a PS4 or they already have a PS4, Little Big Planet 3, and and keep their move from the PS3 era.
The PS3 error.
Era.
But no, I'm messing. But yeah, I'm not saying I don't expect it to sell. I just don't think it's gonna push consoles.
Yeah, me either.
No.
Uncharted Remastered, or I'm sorry, we skipped one actually, but let's go on to that. Uncharted Remastered.
Yes. For those who didn't know, an Uncharted Remaster Collection accidentally leaked by PlayStation's Europe blog team, of all people.
Quick comment: Europeans always seem to leak stuff, whether it's Amazon France or the European blog or a European site. I don't know what it is, but they like to link. Yeah, I said them. They like to leak a lot of stuff.
Yep. Need to hire new plumbers.
And the reason being is that a YouTube uploading snapshot of Uncharted 3 was being shown without thought until someone mentioned it in the comments section, and the pic has since then been removed.
Of course.
Now it kind of begs the question, with The Last of Us Remaster under their belt, was this kind of inevitable to follow after?
Yeah, because Uncharted is a huge franchise for Sony, so it would be expected for them to remaster that as well.
Yeah, and if they're trying to push 2015 holiday for Uncharted A Thief's End, Uncharted 4, whatever they're calling it, it does make sense to try to put something with the Uncharted Remastered Collection out before then. Maybe like April or May or even June, a year after the Last of Us. Or I'm sorry, Last of Us didn't come out at that point. It was July or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like May, June, July, somewhere around there. It kind of makes sense to have something like that just to kind of get everybody a chance to play it that hadn't got to play it and kind of get people hyped up for A Thief's End. So,
yeah,
it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, for the people who complain about remasters, it's not for you if you already played it. It's for people who are moving into the console, who've never played it or experienced these games.
Yep, and if you don't want it, don't buy it.
I mean,
yeah, if you don't want it, don't buy it.
I mean, would you guys buy an Uncharted collection with all the bells and whistles, like 1080p, 60 frames per second, updated visuals with all the multiplayer maps and DLC?
If it has all the DLC, I probably would.
DLC
Depends.
going for DLC, of course.
Also depends on the price as well.
Yeah, I think it's gonna probably
Heavy on the
launch for
price.
$50. I beat 1 and 2. Like 2 was great until the very, very end, and then it got kind of weird. I did not beat 3, so that would be tempting, but I just don't know if I'm gonna, throw out $60 for that. But we shall see.
Is this kind of like a counter to Xbox One's Master Chief Collection?
Nah. I don't think so.
You don't think so, Mike?
No, not really. The Master Chief Collection, I think, was actually started with their their Halo anniversary. I mean, this is just the only difference between that are they're having Halo Anniversary 1 and Halo 2 Anniversary going together as the actual, more HDified. The other games actually they're up-res, but that's basically it. I don't think they're retouched or anything like that. But
So,
I don't think that's related, especially
so is
not
this,
months after.
so would you say that maybe this is a prep for those who only had a 360 last gen to enjoy maybe the Uncharted series before Uncharted 4 comes out?
Yeah,
I
that's
would
what
think
we're
so,
getting
yeah.
at.
Especially when it's continuing. Well, not continuing. Well, we don't know what the story's going to be, but to get to know the characters, basically.
Yeah, we just know that Nathan Drake's gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on here. Resogun is hitting another system. Ryder, has
Oh, yeah.
PlayStation 4 just lost one of its best exclusives?
I don't know, especially since it's on a particular platform. It probably not going to mean too much.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch.
Resogun is
Wow.
coming to
That is
Vita
a burn
owners.
if I've ever heard one.
Oh yeah. But Resogun is coming to Vita owners thanks to Climax Studios doing the port job. And for those who don't know, they've done many ports, especially to the Vita. Housemarque kind of mentioned in January 2014 that if Resogun were to come to other platforms, that the game would greatly have been diminished, especially the underlying tech of the game, and wouldn't be the same game. So how are they doing it on the Vita then? But in all honesty, judging by the first ever screenshot on the PlayStation blog, you can kind of see that it is going to be a side-scrolling shooter with protagonist now. So
Human
does anybody
lost.
have any? No, does anybody have any thoughts on this?
I like as far as how it's gonna work out. I don't know. Like there were a whole lot of particles and whatnot going through, so I don't know how it's gonna look on Vita honestly when it's running. But we'll see, I guess, on that end. But what was the other question there?
What was it? Well, judging by the screenshot, we kind of don't know if it's going to be following exactly the Resogun formula. It's going to be like somewhat similar, and it showed like a guy standing there shooting the enemies. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
makes me
haven't
wonder
I
if
haven't
it's
looked
not
at
like
that actually. But yeah, the that could be an interesting twist. I don't know how they'd actually pull that off, but it could be cool. Maybe that's an extra mode.
Is anyone still playing Resogun, by the way?
No, I stopped already.
Same here.
Yeah, I didn't like I try to play twin stick shooters, but the only one that's actually held my interest that long is actually Kill All Zombies. It's actually doing a pretty decent job of holding my attention.
Once I got the platinum, I stopped
Of
playing.
course,
pretty
once
much.
you get
Oh,
the
so you
platinum.
got the platinum already. Everybody else get the platinum?
Nah.
Nope.
I don't
What?
trophy hunt. I don't trophy hunt like somebody named KOC.
Well, I got the platinum on Housemarque's other game, which was Dead Nation. For
Oh
PC.
yeah,
So,
I saw you going after that.
oh yeah.
I just couldn't find anybody willing to partner up with me.
No.
Can you blame them? I mean, come on. So, let's talk about Destiny because we haven't in like 2
We
weeks,
haven't in a while.
like a week. It's been a long time.
Been in Destiny rehab.
So, Destiny: The Dark Below has the new content for it has been revealed for Destiny fans who bought the season pass or limited edition or just DLC itself. Includes new weapons, armor, and gear to earn with a level cap up to 32 now, with 5 additional bonus slots. 5 additional bounty slots. Sorry. Mission content includes 3 new story missions. one new strike mission, along with an additional exclusive strike mission for PlayStation owners, one new raid mission, and 3 new multiplayer maps. And wait, there's more.
There's more.
Wait. Before we do that,
Amazing.
let's react first to the amount of content there.
All right.
Amazing. Day one. No, I won't. No.
So, I was reading a review from somebody that played the game like 300 hours, and he was saying you basically can get to level 29, but then getting to level 30 is actually completely random because you have to get certain loot things to make that happen.
Yeah, raid gear.
And raid gear, yes, and that's completely random. You could get it all your first time through, or you could be still trying to get it even though you've done it every single week. So that, if 31 and 32 are the same way, but that's very underwhelming for an expansion. And then Xbox One players get screwed out of, Xbox players get screwed out of more content.
Absolutely.
Like that was,
so we're with you, Xbox gamers.
Yeah, this is we've already argued that the whole exclusive DLC thing is kind of dumb anyway. But this is even this is even worse to me because this is paid DLC that they're not getting part of. I mean, that's just I'm sorry, that's dumb.
Here, give me the same amount of money and you could play 1 year afterwards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, even for the amount of content though, like I think it's what $20 for the ticket or whatever, or 15 for the particular expansion.
Well, it's 20 for the DLC and
20
then
for the DLC. Okay.
35 for the season pass.
Yeah, not worth it.
So, yeah, like the amount of content you're getting for the amount of cash is pretty small. It's very, very anticlimactic. But
wait, Ryder said there was more.
Let's twist this just a little bit worse. What do you got, Ryder?
So,
breaking news.
as I mentioned, all this content is already easily available on the disc. It's just not turned on. It is mentioned that all the DLC coming to Destiny is already on the disc to avoid hefty downloads when the content is turned on the day the DLC is available to play on. I couldn't say when the DLC drops because it's already there.
Nice.
So, is it okay to have this lock content like Capcom Spidey games in this? And if the content is already on the disc to begin with, is it right to pay an additional fee for something you've already bought?
No. I'm gonna say this, that it's okay if the content was unfinished and you were really working on it. It's okay to charge if you're gonna really add to it, something huge, something actually improve on it, actually make it substantial, rather than just here, download the actual monsters for this place you already have on your disc, because that's pretty much what's gonna happen, because a lot of those places people have already discovered.
Yep.
Right.
So the only thing is that some of them are empty. Other places actually have the monsters, but they don't respawn. So that's just like, some changes that have to be done. And voila, you have an area you already have. An area that you have on your disc is going to be playable once you download the certain, the DLC. But it's already in the disc. I don't think that's fair to be paying for something that you already bought, you already have. And the only thing that's going to happen is when the update comes, it's going to have some minor changes. So I don't think it's fair.
So, to give them a little bit of an out, the only way I can see part of this making sense is simply to have the texture files and the topography and all that kind of stuff already on the disk, because you're probably not using that much room, and therefore, if you have those areas done, I can kind of understand that. But at the same time, if you have those areas done, why aren't they in the final game? That's what doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, you can argue that, they don't have monsters in them, when clearly some of them do. They don't have blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know. Like, on the one hand, I can kind of understand saving the download space for people and just putting them on the disc for textures and stuff like that. But at the same time, if they've got all that already on the disc, why in the world wasn't it part of the main game? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that's
can't-
what I'm saying. Maybe they had issues with it, or they weren't able, time restrictions or something.
Yeah,
Fine, but you need to add to that if you're gonna charge. If you're just
exactly.
gonna, otherwise, it's unfair, as you were saying. It's already on the disc when it wasn't in there, and when the game released.
Yeah, and if they are tweaking stuff and they're not happy with some of that's one thing, and we don't really know that, and we won't really know that until it actually gets here and we see whatever the patch size is and
Yeah.
whatever we actually have to download. That's when we'll know for sure.
Yep. And will anybody be playing right below this December?
If I actually get into the game, I keep meaning to try to get into the game, but I'm dreading playing through Old Russia, and I'm dreading the grind at the end, so it's kind of like, oh, I don't know.
I mean, obviously, the JLC's not gonna play it, but me and you, Mike, we're kind of like you don't really have an option. Like you can play it or we can choose not to play it, but the content will be available to us.
Yeah. Well, and so let's flash back for a second. I don't remember what episode it was, but during the beta, Jim and I were debating this vehemently, and I kept saying I'm very, very worried about the publisher, and based on what I'm seeing in the beta and how much content is there, and what these expansions are actually going to be like, and and they're talking about sequels and all this other stuff, and I was talking gloom and doom, and look what happened. It's sad to be right on something like that, but at the same time, I gotta say it, I kind of called that. And I honestly expected there to be more content in this pass, though. Like, that's a very sorry lineup, in my opinion, for how much they're charging for this and how little I feel the game has, based on what I'm hearing other people say. Of course, I like I say, I have not gotten to play through it. I just haven't had the time, and I really don't want to play through Old Russia. So it is very unfortunate that this is what we're seeing now, and they're already talking about sequels and all this other stuff. So, Watch Dogs, the other big overhyped game of the year, right?
Actually, I didn't buy it, so I don't know. Ubisoft shipped 9 million Watchdog units, and still is being one of Ubisoft's fastest selling new IP in their catalog, of course. So is this a sign that it was mere luck because of people just wanting a game to play during its launch month? And who here has played Watch Dogs?
I think
we all
played
have,
Watch
but Ryder.
Dogs.
Yeah. Was it a game where you played it too?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's not awful. It's just not great like everyone expected it to be. I feel like the hacking is very one-dimensional in most of the cases, and you really have to kind of. I heard the DLC gets better about that, but you just pass through an intersection and you hit a button. That's what you do most of the time, or you go past a thing and hit a button. It's not like it's actually used for much beyond that. Unless there's some sort of ad hoc thing. One of the few uses I really liked about it was where you're trying to hack into the I forget what they're called. They're basically data centers. When you're actually trying to get into those, and you're like using your hacking skills on a guy, and that guy ends up looking and seeing a camera that you can hack, and you take that camera and aim another way and go hack this. Like, that was kind of cool to me. And you could do some very interesting things with all that, and interact with some stuff and make it attract guards that had a walkie-talkie you could hack or something like that on it. That was cool, but the rest of it was kind of lackluster. But I think it did launch at kind of the right time, because the summer drought was kind of starting to kick in at that point. So yeah. I can definitely see where people were wanting the game to play.
Yeah, very desperate. I never got into the hype for it, and I already knew that Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to be coming to PS4, so I was like, I'll just wait. So, what do you guys what do you guys think could improve on the inevitable sequel that's going to be coming?
They've
The
already said
driving.
it's going to be unlike anything. Oh yes, the driving definitely. That's,
Driving.
the driving definitely. And and like I say, I hope I can try the crew. I doubt it just because of the way it's working out. But it'd be nice to try the crew and actually, see if the driving's changed at all from when I played it back on PC in like July. But I have a feeling it has not. And it's unfortunately they're using the same driving model. But that, like, it just like when I'm playing Sleeping Dogs, it just keeps like I really like what they did with the driving model in that. I felt GTA 5 had a pretty good driving model, so it's really unfortunate that Watch Dogs had such a bad one. Like I felt like the only time I really felt in control of what I was driving was when I was on like a motorcycle or something. Or if you had some gigantic truck, like then it kind of even then it was kind of slippery, but I felt more under control with those than I did with like a car. I don't know.
I think more hacking options because
Yeah.
the only reason, like you said, the only way you used it was to either an emission to hack cameras, hack a car alarm, hack some pipes on the street, and that's about it. That's how you use it for.
Yeah, it was very focused. I think they could. There's definitely ways to make it work. They just need to kind of tweak a lot to get it to really to what people are wanting. I think.
Yeah. Add more vertical gameplay as well, in my opinion.
That's
Yeah,
kind of why.
that'd be good too.
That's why I'm kind of looking forward to.
It's a great game, don't get me wrong.
It's good. It's just not amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of waiting for Saints Row. So
Now that'll have vertical gameplay.
verticality everywhere.
But so Far Cry 4, that'll have a verticality.
Well, Far Cry 4 has gone gold, people. With the custom audio mode hitting the PlayStation Gold, Silver, and Elite headsets owners shortly after its release. So is everyone excited for Far Cry 4? Is it your big game for this month on PS4?
I'm not getting it, to be honest.
What?
Oh,
Same here.
Oh.
wow. They changed their minds that quickly.
Yep.
They hate Far Cry
I don't know.
4.
For me, I haven't played the Far Cry game.
Oh, you haven't? Man, Far Cry 3 was really good.
Yeah, it was. And I expect Far Cry 4 to be really good as well. So, yes, I will be picking it up. I don't know if it's the big game of the month because there's so many other games coming out. I mean, Call of Duty just hit. I'm actually somewhat liking it. Again, I'm very cautiously optimistic because I've only played like one multiplayer match and 2 story missions, so jury is still very much out on that. But then after that, you got Assassin's Creed Unity, and then you have something else, Dragon Age Inquisition coming out that same day, and then you have something else
Rogue
coming out.
Me too.
Sorry,
Doesn't Assassin's Creed Rogue come out the same day as well?
Yeah.
that's a last gen title. I'm sorry, we're not talking about that.
Hey, it's
I'm
possibly
not,
coming over
I'm
here.
not interested until it comes to the PS4
Alright.
or PC, possibly. But then I think all of them actually for me are probably trumped by Smash Brothers, just because 8-player mode and how awesome that's going to be, and
I said PS4.
sorry.
I said PS4.
Oh, for PS4. Yeah. I don't know. It'd probably be between Far Cry, Grand Theft Auto, and probably Assassin's Creed. Actually, I'm really looking forward to trying that, despite all the parody nonsense. I'm still undecided if I want to actually pick that up, but I think I'm going to end up doing it just because I have enjoyed Assassin's Creed in the past. I just we'll see.
So does anyone here have the PlayStation headsets I mentioned? And if so, do you like them?
I have the gold. They're pretty solid. I don't know, when I was wearing them this afternoon or evening, they were a little on the uncomfortable side. Like I feel like they're kind of small. Uh, so that's something that's kind of off-putting. I haven't really noticed it before, but maybe it was just something about the way I wore them today. I don't know.
I also got the gold as well.
GLC,
Nope.
have you ever had a PlayStation headset?
No.
I had the golds and elites. So, well, I had
The
them.
Pulse Elite, right?
Yep, I had the Pulse Elite and I had the golds, but they were for reviewing purposes. Um, so does the custom audio modes for those headsets, for instance, for the one for Far Cry 4 that we mentioned, is that a big selling point for PlayStation owners? And has anyone used those custom audio modes between you two guys?
No.
No, you don't have one. You're disqualified.
I feel like if they would do it more often, they would be more useful. But like, I mean, Call of Duty doesn't even have one, and like that's one place where I really think that most people would want one. So
Well, isn't that what the shooter mode is for? I saw there's a shooter profile.
Yeah, that's a default shooter one.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously gonna be different depending on what you're playing. Honestly, I mean that's. I mean, you could argue the same thing about Far Cry 4. That there's a shooter profile. Why do you need an extra profile? I
Because it's
mean,
Far Cry.
Infamous is an action game, right? So why do you need a profile for it? I don't know.
Destiny also has one too.
Yeah, Destiny has one as well.
Destiny's a shooter game, so why do you need a profile for that? I think if they tried to hit some of the bigger games, some of the other bigger games rather, like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed or something like that, and try to actually update them more than once a quarter, that it could be useful. But I don't know. Like I've messed around with the Infamous one, but I honestly really couldn't tell that much difference.
Well, I'm sure because there's no Call of Duty profile or a Battlefield profile because I don't know. I think they try to license their quote unquote themselves through other headsets, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, but those headsets are generally just have a logo on them. They don't actually have like a
Yeah, it's not
profile.
profile. Yeah.
I don't
No,
know.
maybe down the road since they have been doing really well in their first party headsets.
Yeah, I mean, like the golds are pretty solid, especially for the price. But obviously they're going to be beat out by Astros and the higher end Turtle Beach stuff probably. But they're definitely solid for the price.
I'm really crossing my fingers for the platinum. If it's what I think it is,
What do
I
you
might
think
give
it
up.
is?
Huh?
What do you think it is?
I'm hoping that because they're called the platinums, that there'll be a higher price, like somewhere between $150 to $200, and because they're a platinum and all, you expect a higher tier, and then they just dump their VSS, which is their surround profile, and go for either the new DTSX headphones or the Dolby digital.
Yeah, I don't know if they have. I don't know. That would be interesting, definitely. But I know I know the new Turtle Beach Elites use the DTSX or
Yeah,
whatever
the
it is.
those are new technology, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I have. That's another reason I'm wanting to try them out, so I can actually test this out and see what it sounds like and all that. But
and that's why I'm crossing my fingers that the platinum has at least that. So
yeah. Well, we'll see on that. But yeah, I would expect. I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard more about the platinum. I'm still also wondering where the bronze are. I'm guessing that's probably what you got with the
I mean,
PS4.
they just announced well, not just announced, but just recently came out with the silver. So
Right. Yeah, probably so next year or something.
well, if you look at their line, they're always tossing them out every 6 months to a year. So
Yeah.
probably expect something next year. Probably will be announced.
Maybe so. Game of Thrones game series.
Yes. The Game of Thrones game series will be starting this year, according to Telltale Games, and will have 5 playable characters. Some people were kind of fearful that because of Walking Dead season 2 and The Wolf Among Us, that with those 2 titles just finishing their season, we'll say, that they might not have time to do the Game of Thrones one. And then they mentioned that it definitely is coming out this year. I forget what the title of the first episode is called, but I think it's called something Winter or um. So, do do you think we'll see Game of Thrones maybe this month, or do you think Telltale might hold it back until December 21st when it's officially winter? And who here has actually watched the TV show, the TV series? Is it good enough to actually warrant a game?
Well, I am debating on how to answer this question. So let's be flat out. I don't really care. If I had to theorize, I would suggest that December is more likely, just simply because they just got Walking Dead season 2, and they got Wolf Among Us hitting next gen platforms now. So I would expect that December is slightly more likely, or at the very end of this month maybe. But I've tried to get into the Game of Thrones books. I have not been successful on multiple attempts. My wife has done the same thing, and she actually did try to watch the TV show, and she said it was meh. So I haven't even bothered. Some people get really into it, but I don't know. Everybody keeps trying to pitch it as this dark fantasy, but to me, it just seems like dark medieval fiction or something like that, rather than fantasy. There supposedly is some overarching magic and stuff like that involved, but it doesn't really seem like a fantasy story to me. It seems more like a medieval historical fiction or something like that, and that's just not something I really care about. But I've tried to get into them, but no go for me.
Has anyone else watched the TV show? I personally haven't watched it because I don't actually have any of the
Nope.
HBO cinema packages type of deal.
Yeah, we only had it for promotion for a little while. But there'll be some fans that are really excited. They tried Game of Thrones games before. I don't think I think they were, one of them was decent, the other one was not so great. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they can actually pull something off, and they probably can. But if it's an adventure game, I guess it could work. I just don't know how they're gonna actually tie it in, because the TV show and all that. I don't know how different it is from the books. I imagine it's quite a bit different, depending on how much ground they're trying to cover.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Telltale would just go their own route because I don't know, the The Walking Dead doesn't actually follow the comics, and
Nope.
the Wolf Among Us actually really doesn't follow the comics for that either. They're just their own interpretation of how they feel that it represents that series.
Well, yeah, but is The Walking Dead, are the characters based on the comics at all?
Nope.
Yeah.
They're all, well, are they?
Slightly.
I thought
Yeah.
they're
Yeah, but they go their own different route.
yeah, their own route.
Okay. I didn't know if the characters were based in reality at all, or if they were made up entirely for the game.
I just know the TV show is based upon it's trying their hardest to be based around the comics. So
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If they're using characters from the actual show, though, I don't know. Just because some people get so serious about Game of Thrones, I don't know.
and there's a highly likely that it will be based on the characters from the TV show because then you'll be more connected.
I will be unconnected, I think. So, let's talk about dying light. The light is dying from that last topic. Let's get the light back on. Come on.
Man, I've waited for this news for a very, very long time. I've heard about this news months ago that this is a possibility because they were having a very, very hard time getting Dying Light to work on PS3, and because of the scope that they they were trying to work backwards when they were trying to explain it all. So let's just go to the news story. Dying Light proves to be too demanding on past-gen consoles. The PS3 and 360 versions have been canceled. Thank God. in order to put full effort into the current gen consoles, which is the PS4 and Xbox One, with no consideration of or compromise due to the past gen consoles' weaker hardware would have been. So thank goodness this is happening. Man, it makes me so happy to hear that a developer is going full next gen. But anyway, this is another game not being held back by past gen consoles. So should more developers do this? And with this game doing this, will others hopefully follow? And are we going to ever leave past-gen consoles behind?
So yes, past-gen console fans, Ryder revels in your despair. I will include an email address for you guys to send hate mail to him when I post the podcast. So just wait for that, and I'll get that to you guys. Hate mail will come flying. But no, like for being serious, I can kind of understand it. I have not kept up with the game as much, but the little bit I did see, it did look like they were really trying to push things. So I can kind of understand it, and rather than them trying to cripple the game or something for past gen, I think fans would ultimately maybe disgruntledly agree that ultimately that's probably the best plan of action.
And
who wants a broken game? I would rather just not have the game at all, I think, than have a broken game.
I don't know. There's that Drive Club. But
there was also Battlefield.
I mean, I played Dying Light at E3. I loved it so much that I made an info thread about it. I've been keeping tabs on this game very closely, and there was talks about already beforehand. There was talks about when they were trying to get the PS3 version, they were having to dumb down the graphics like extremely, like as if you were to compare it to a PC, like to very, very low settings because of how many characters were on screen, how many items were on screen. The lighting is much, much more advanced because it's, on technical terms, it's refracting almost off of everything. And it would have been heavily, heavily downgraded if it was going to come to PS3.
Yeah, Dying Light's actually one I'm sort of interested in. It reminds me a little bit of Left 4 Dead. So that and the co-op and all that's kind of interesting. So I'm curious to actually try the game. But we'll see on that. But yeah, unfortunate, but I think it's probably for the best ultimately for the game.
Yeah.
That they canceled the past gen. So we're talking about Walmart selling used games again.
Yes. I thought I'd bring this up, especially since, 1,700 out of 4,800 Walmarts have started accepting and selling used games again, like Mike said. And but with Walmart doing badly at the used game market, not only once, which was in March of this year, and it failed. But if people remember, in 2009, Walmart tried trading kiosks, which failed the year after, which makes you wonder, why is Walmart trying this for the third time running? With GameStop, Best Buy, and Amazon as better options for game trade-ins, besides selling it yourself on eBay, shouldn't the other failed stores that tried, like Target and Toys R Us, be assigned to not even bother? Does the market really need to be saturated with more stores getting into the used game market?
Well, So I don't actually remember them trying it this year in March. I thought that's when they announced that they were going to be looking at it.
No, they were looking at. They had a couple stores that actually were, I guess you call it beta testing.
Oh well, that's a beta test.
And they
So I
s-
mean that doesn't really mean a whole lot to me.
No, well, they
Um,
said that after they tried it, they were gonna do it again. They say, well, it was a failed attempt, so we're not gonna try. And then they come back and say, oh, we're gonna do it again, but now we're gonna do it with more stores.
yeah, we'll see. As far as the trading kiosks, I'm thinking that was a similar deal because I actually do not remember those. So
I remember, but the thing is, there's a lot of people that were breaking into them, so
well, yeah, I know.
it wasn't doing too
That
well.
there's your problem. Is all I'm gonna say about that. Um, so GameStop, I can understand the trade-ins. That's their main revenue. Best Buy, I can sort of understand because they're so tech focused. Amazon, they have more breadth than Walmart when it comes to actually like products and whatnot. So I don't know as far as actually having Walmart join in. On the one hand, like you said, it will make the market more saturated. However, on the other hand, it could provide a nice competition to GameStop and Best Buy and whatnot. So we'll have to actually see what that means for prices, if prices will go up or anything like
Well,
that.
Well, if you look at there's a couple articles online about this Walmart going back into the used game market, and they said that they're trying to maybe give an edge to themselves compared to GameStop. And usually, when it comes to GameStop, when you're trying to game in, usually like $20 or $30, that's all they give you, if it's a new title, like a fairly new title. And then they'll turn around and sell the game for either double the price or almost double the price than what they gave the money for. Walmart's saying that what they're wanting to do is they want to give you either the almost same amount that you paid for it, or if it is going to be sold at a lesser value, that you will get maybe $10 less than what they're going to be selling it on the store shelf.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's what I was getting at when I was saying that's what GameStop makes its revenue on. Walmart makes their revenue so many other ways. They can afford to have to basically sell these to give you more money and sell them cheaper.
Yeah.
As opposed to GameStop because they're getting you in the store. If you're like me, I go in, I get exactly what I want, and I leave. I don't shop. I don't walk around. I don't look for sales. I don't do any of that. But if little Johnny is having mom go to GameStop or Walmart, rather, to pick up the used game, and while they're there, she's shopping and whatnot for the weekend or whatever. I mean, that's kind of a win for them because they get all the profit from that game. They don't have to give any of that back to the publisher. They only had to buy it from somebody else. So I can kind of understand that, but it's not not ideal for a shopper like me, and I'm guessing most of you guys as well, where you're just in, out, gone.
So, is anybody here willing enough to do a trade-in with them at Walmart?
I generally don't trade stuff in unless there's a great deal on it. Like the Last of Us deal, that was worth it to me. I do remember I got Eternal Darkness for like $29 or $26. I waited like 3 or 4 years, and then I traded it in for $26. So that was like a win because I bought it and sold it for basically the same price. 3 or 4 years apart. That was awesome. But
For
yeah,
me, it'll be
I
if they find a way how to trade in digitals, because that's all my games right now.
yeah, so gamer will not.
Digital trading program.
I glanced at their prices on some of their digital or their used stuff rather, and they didn't seem like awful for what they were charging for them online. I didn't look at I haven't seen anything in stores. But as far as online stuff go, I thought the prices were fairly decent, but I didn't take the time to look them up and see how much they were and if you could get copies new for the same price or something like that. That's where Walmart really kind of falls behind. Is all the online prices end up being so much cheaper now. With movies and games and stuff like that, especially if they've been out a little while. So Battlefront.
Oh, yes. Last story for tonight. Battlefront has been pushed back from its March 2015 release date to holiday 2015, according to EA CEO's Andrew Wilson, in order to allow us to have a major first-person shooter title each and every year. Next Battlefield game was also confirmed during a I think it's a financial meeting confirmed for 2016. So is anyone here surprised that this was EA's plan, especially after buying the Battlefront license, a yearly first-person shooter release by EA to counter Activision? Or I mean, is this the way they're going to be going, and is it different somehow?
That's going to be the question, but we're not going to know that answer until we actually see some gameplay of that game. Honestly, like I feel like it could be worth checking out, but at the same time, I mean, if they really are just going to put it like I remember back in Battlefield 1942, there was a mod, a total conversion mod that made it Star Wars. And I mean, like, if that's what it's basically going to be, then yeah, I'm not going to care. I don't think a lot of people will like that as much, so we will see on that.
And to some who don't know, the Battlefront that you know of is not going to be the Battlefront that you remember, because they mentioned in that same meeting that it is going to be a first-person shooter. It will not be a third-person action game at all. So they mentioned in a meeting. So
I do know that they mentioned that, but at the same time, it was investors' call. I find it a little difficult to take everything they say with 100% certainty, so I'm still kind of holding out until I actually see gameplay on that. But it definitely doesn't look good as far as that goes. Because I just don't know how you're doing like Jedis and stuff like that in first-person mode.
Maybe it'll be like what was that one game? Jedi Outcast. Yeah, I want to say that.
See,
that one you could be in first person, but then you can switch out the third person.
Yeah, and that's if they do something like that, I think it could work. And that's actually, I'm wanting to say you could almost do. That's almost what Battlefield was like, but you just didn't have the first person option at all. And so if they're just adding a first person option, and still letting you use third person, and it doesn't feel overly awkward like it does in like Skyrim or something, then it could definitely work.
So can we expect some offshoot Battlefield $60 expansion sold as a game in 2017 and Battlefront 2 in 2018?
We don't know. 2017, we don't even know. Like, it could be another Battlefront game in 2017. It could be anything at this point. But
with their, and I only mention that because their one plan is they want to have person shooters every year. So.
And by that point, maybe they revive Medal of Honor and try to do something good with that. I don't know. My thing is, if they're actually having different studios work on this and they're actually doing competent jobs and they're not repeating the same game. I mean, they tried to turn Medal of Honor into like a Battlefield
alternate.
Yeah, alternate, and tried to. It just didn't work. Whatever they were trying to do with it, I don't know the way to describe it, but they didn't have very good ideas. So, I like, as long as they're distinct, I don't really have a problem with them having a big shooter come out every year. But them being distinct is going to be the key, because if they're having the same, two teams work on all three titles, and they're using the same engine, which they probably will be because they like Frostbite a lot. As long as they're working on the mechanics and all that to make sure it's actually different, I'll be fine with that. JLC is not very pleased, but it is acceptable, right, JLC?
I don't know, to be honest. We'll have to wait and see.
He's like, I'm so upset about Battlefield. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He still got Hardline to wait as well.
Oh yeah.
he's not getting that. JLC
No.
disapproves.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm still waiting on gameplay and some actually more details before I get too up in arms about the Battlefront stuff, just because
Exactly.
we have no idea beyond that.
Mm.
But yeah, unless you guys have anything else, I think we're done. That means Gamer and I can go back to Call of Duty and losing, probably.
All right. See you guys then.
See you guys later.
Right.
The
Bye-bye.
Wolf Among Us.